Yo guys, Bomardu VR, and today I'm going to teach you guys how to set up Oblivion Remastered, but in VR. So Oblivion Remastered just came out, and people have been clamoring, asking me, DMing me, how do you set it up in VR? So I haven't played much of it, and it is my first Oblivion game, but I do know how to set it up in VR. I got it working, played about 30 minutes, and so I'm going to teach you guys how to set up in VR. So in this video, I will go over the setup method for Quest headsets and then just native PC VR, Steam VR headsets. So stick around because I'm kind of interweaving between both. That's pretty much it. Make sure you like and subscribe. A lot of you guys don't do that. I'm trying to get 10K, man. Help your boy out. Let's get into it. All right, guys. So first step is to go to the UEVR.io site, and I'll make sure it's linked in the description below so you guys can get to it. But this site's pretty much everything UEVR. A lot of information on here, but we're here today. The first thing is the GitHub. GitHub is important, but that's where you're gonna get your code and your application for UEVR. So I'm gonna show you guys a few different builds for UEVR, and the one we're gonna use for this session in particular is gonna be the nightly release. So any other time you probably wanna do the stable release just to have everything correct, but for the build that we're doing today for Oblivion Remake, it's gonna be the nightly release. So just right click it, go in there, and then go to the bottom, and it's gonna say UEVR.zip. Just go ahead and click that. It's gonna download, and then I'll make mine like 2 or something. I already got it installed. There's gonna do that. Boom, go up here, open it up, and you're gonna want to extract that folder. So just go to extract all, use 7-zip, whatever you got, and then just extract it. And you're gonna go to UEVRinjector.exe. That is where you're gonna get your application. Double click it, let it run. This is definitely saved. It's been scanned. A lot of people in the Discord would know how. If it had a virus or anything like that, you would know by now. So since I'm using virtual desktop, it gave me a warning saying that to make sure you use OpenXR for the first time, and that is important. So this is where the Quest versus native PC VR side comes in. If you're on Quest, you're going to use OpenXR. So if you're on Airlink, Virtual Desktop, Steam Link, anything Quest related, OpenXR is your go-to. If you're on a Big Screen Beyond, Pimax, anything else that's not a Quest, you're going to want to use OpenVR, right? So for today, we're going to use OpenXR because, like I said, we are on Meta Quest. You also going to want to make sure you restart your app as administrator because you're definitely going to need it. So just go ahead and do that. And it's going to reopen and give you the same warning. But another thing that's really important, and this is for people who have issues with the actual display of the VR when you get in. There is a VR rendering method. Now, a lot of these values and keys you really want to deal with, but this one is important. You have native stereo, you have sync sequential, and you have alternating AFR. The last one nobody uses, but sometimes you can get more performance and a better view switching from native stereo to sync sequential. So today we're going to use native stereo because if it works, why mess with it? But if you have issues with the way that UEVR displaying the VR in headset, then switch that up and see if you have a fix. If not, then the profile just may be bad or might not work for you. But that is definitely a very important part, and I hope you guys remember it when you actually get in. But now is another important part. We have to get a profile. So what makes UEVR special is that a profile is needed to add custom configurations for your VR game, which gives you the 6 DOF and all the motion controls and stuff like that. So usually you just click import config, but you actually have to find the configuration, and that's where the UEVR Discord comes in. So go back to UEVR.io, and you see at the top right, it says flat to VR Discord. Click that. So click that. It's going to open. I already have Discord open. So I'm just going to bring it over here. And this is like mad important. My camera should move around so you guys can actually see everything. But this right here is basically how you're going to get your mods. So what you're going to do is just go ahead and go and do the onboarding for the Discord. You're going to scroll down to the section that says Unreal Engine VR. That's literally probably the only section you're going to need out of here. And I want to go down to UE Games. Click UE Games, and it's going to open up this big old list of games. We got Days Gone, Grand Theft Auto, all this stuff, right? And you're going to want to click Oblivion Remastered, Elder Scrolls Oblivion Remastered. Click that open. See our people typing in here. The chat is very active. I got a lot of help in here. But what you're going to want to do is go to more at the top right, open in Fuel View, and you're going to want to go to the pinned messages. Literally, only thing I need out of here is the pinned messages. So As you see here, it says 6 DOF attached items profile, right hand aiming for nightly 1046. So that is important. So if a build says nightly or stable or whatever, make sure you follow that, because it will not work if you do not have that. So it also gives you a link to it. People are very helpful in here. So click that. It'll take you to the right profile. We already have 1046 because that's the one we downloaded from the nightly release. So you're good on that. And also down, when you scroll down some more, there is a VR controller icon replacement. Really easy setup. I'm not gonna go over it in this video. And there's also performance tips that kind of give you a little boost in performance as you tinker with them. So not covering that in this video. We're purely gonna get it working. So as you see, we have 2 files attached to this, right? We have Oblivion Remastered Win64 and Oblivion Remastered WinGDK. Win64 is for the Steam release of Oblivion Remastered. If it's not Steam, do not use Win64 because it won't work and you're gonna be all mad. So you don't come to me all mad and have to be like, bro, you didn't pick the right one. Make sure if you're on Steam, use Win64. If you're on Xbox Game Pass, use WinGDK, okay? This is very important. This is very important. Steam, Win64. Xbox Game Pass, WinGDK, okay? And so today we're on Steam. I usually get my Bethesda games on Steam because they are usually very broken. So you know how that goes. So we're gonna download it and make sure that the name stays as is, because it makes it a lot easier for the UEVR to recognize which game it is. So I'm gonna delete my old folder and then I'm just gonna save it here. Yeah, we just replaced, that's fine. And so it's gonna download and then you can open the folder and all your stuff is gonna be in there. But you're gonna go back to the UEVR app, bring that open, and you're gonna go to the side button that says import config. So import config, and then go to wherever you downloaded that profile, and then you're gonna double click it, let UEVR import it, and once this file explorer window pops up, you did it, congratulations. So that's basically really almost it. Once you get out of there, there are different things you could do, but this literally is it. Now, if you want to add in those icons that I mentioned earlier, you're gonna want to go to the Open Global directory, and that's gonna take you to the base directory for UEVR, but that's a whole nother can of worms. We basically covered almost all the basics. Now it's actually time to get into VR. All right, guys, we are in VR now. So I have virtual desktop open and I do have Steam VR already up. So for some people, you're gonna wanna have that up. If you have problems, try to not have Steam VR up and then let the UEVR injector mod kind of start it up for you if you have issues. But me personally, I kind of like to have it up already. So we're gonna start up Oblivion, go to play. It's gonna launch, let it launch normally. Some people do it when they get in game. I like doing mine in the main menu, just so I can kind of tweak and do stuff like that. All right, guys, so we got into Oblivion Remastered. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit the Windows key so I can tab out. So once you get tabbed out, you're gonna see your desktop here. You're gonna go down and click this UEVR icon, and you're gonna go to the options here and click Oblivion Remastered. And obviously, if you got the right profile, it should say 164 for Steam, 1GDK for Game Pass. So make sure you're on OpenXR again. You're gonna click inject, and then boom, it should load up into your Steam VR if you have it open. Might take a little second, so give it a little time, and then it'll be working. All right, there we go. It's booting up now. Takes a little second, just give it a second. So now we are moving around. So you should just only see the window that's on here. But if you see the window and then your actual headset is moving, that means you are okay. So there's different options you can do. But if you want to get rid of the menu, just tap in both buttons and then you'll be fine. So let's do that. And then the window should move. And then we go to continue or new or wherever you want to do. And then continue from last game. It's gonna take a little minute to load. And then boom, you got full motion controls. Look at that. Real easy. You see right, left, A. So you can move around, you can hit stuff. It's way easier doing it on Quest. And you also get a performance boost if you're using Space Warp. So definitely think about that. That is very important. Like mine is tweaking out now because I have index settings in here instead of Quest settings. So make sure if you're gonna switch between headsets, make sure you get it right. But it is working. And it honestly is a lot of fun. I really want to get into it this weekend when I have more time. But that's pretty much it. You are officially in Oblivion Remastered VR. Let me go ahead and exit that so I can do an outro. But that is pretty much it, my people. There's literally no other steps. It's really simple. I mean, like amazingly simple to get it working. If you have like any issues, hit me up in the comments below. And if I can't help you, I will send you to the UEVR Discord because they are mad helpful. A lot of programmers in there. It honestly astonishes me how helpful the PSVR community is sometimes. But it's been Marty VR, and remember, I have a review coming up, a little mini review coming up for the Meganex Shift All Super Light 8K. And yes, I have this monstrosity of a setup for it right now, but this little headset is interesting, man. I think some of y'all gonna be a little surprised by my opinion on it, but like I said before, Marty VR, remember, I'm just a dude with a VR headset. Peace.